Hey, how y'all doing? It's Sharonda, and hey, how y'all doing? And I am here with my final thoughts on Archangel's Ascension by Nalini Singh. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? So hey, how y'all doing? I hope your day is going great. Hope your week is going even better. First, I would like to say thank you to Berkley Romance for providing me with the eARC of this book. This is book 17 in the Guild Hunters series. This is a continuation of Ilium and Adohan's relationship. They are going from friends to lover status inside of this book. I enjoyed this book. I'll always enjoy the books in this series. This series is pretty much built around found family, where you have these combination of vampires, angels, archangels, that all come into this found familyness that they have. So Ilium, if you don't know about the series, this is a angel series that is built around one main couple, Raphael and Elena. Raphael is the archangel, and he has this ragtag of other angels and vampires that serve him. Okay, they are called his seven. Ilium and Adohan are part of that seven. We see the development of Ilium and Adohan's relationship. They have been best friends since they were like baby angels or whatever. But we see uh, the development of their romantic relationship start in their first book, Archangel's Light. Okay, so what's in this book, we are seeing just kind of like evolvement of what their romance is looking like at this point. Okay, this is a non-problematic romance. You're not going to go inside of this story getting any conflicts with this couple themselves or any outside conflicts coming in. We are just basically seeing the evolution of Ilium and Adohan. Okay, there's also two secondary plots. We have a murder that both when they both come back from China, or mainly when Ilium comes back from China, they are reacclimating themselves with New York, but they also take over this cold case where they are solving a murder that happened during the Cascade during the war that these that the archangels and the other in their group of people had to take care of another angel, okay, another archangel. So we have that, and then we have the other plot of where we are seeing Ilium's ascension into being an archangel. Okay, so for a majority of this book, we are seeing them not run around I'm about to say run around, but basically like fly around New York and solve this murder of Marco, who is a newly turned vampire, and he was murdered during this cascade that happened. So while they are in the rebuild status or whatever, things just happened, and now the case became cold. Dimitri gives the case to Ilium and Adohan. Adohan is very much into solving this murder. What happened to Marco and his girlfriend Tanika is it hits very close to home to what happened to Ilium, you know, when he went through his things. And if you read the series, a lot happened to Ilium. Okay, so it hit very close to home. So he's very much gun ho on solving this murder. So for a majority of the book, we are getting them attempting to solve this cold case, and they do. Okay, but what I did like seeing on page was the evolution of Ilium and Adohan. We see this closeness not just as friends now, but as they become lovers. We see this closeness on page. They are very romantic on page. Like, I just love seeing them on page. Like, their move from friends to lovers was so easy. It was so seamless. And I think that because they were just friends for like eons, it was just very, very easy for them to just fall into lover status. It was just very beautiful on page. They had like the most erotic moments in the most loving way I've ever seen in a romance book. Now, I do say throughout some of the clips that I do wish that we had gotten more of a physical description of their erotic moments on page. And you know what? That may not be the author's wheelhouse, and being descriptive with queer sex scenes, and that's fine. If that's outside her wheelhouse, that is fine. But again, for me and my house, I would have loved to see that more on page. But not seeing it on page did not take away from the the just love that we see between Ilium and Ada Han. So while they're trying to solve this murder through the majority of the book, and because this hits so close to what went on with Ada Han, and in a certain way, um, we also get a lot of backstory. It's not too descriptive, but we get some backstory on Adelhan's healing, to him getting better from what happened to him. And that also brings him and Ilium so much more closer. There's some very sweet, tender, sad moments on page, and we just don't see that between Ilium and Adahan, but we see that in conversations that Adahan has with some of the seven, and also with Raphael. So I love their evolution on page. It was just so beautiful. So again, for most of this book, we see them attempting to solve this cold case, and they do. So what I would have loved to have seen more on page, or like more in the beginning of the story, is conversations around Ilium's ascension. Once they solve this murder, once that story is out of the way, now we are focusing on Ilium's ascension. So, and that's like at the tail end of the book. For me, in my house, I would have preferred to have seen it discussed more throughout the book. We are getting it at the tail end, and by getting it at the tail end, I feel like there were some, because we're getting like flashbacks of Ilium's relationship with Raphael, and his relationship with his parents, and his relationships with the seven. So we're getting like these flashback scenes, not just from Ilium's perspective, but also from Adahan's, and some of the returning characters within of the series. So I just feel like a lot of that was filler. It did not need to be there. You know what I mean? Like, some things I did enjoy seeing. Like, once he ascended, we had a conversation between him and Raphael, who was his sire, you know what I mean? But he can no longer serve Raphael because he himself is now an archangel. That conversation was so beautiful. Like, the found family trope inside of this series is just top tier. I love it to death. But it is so it is so amazing inside of the story. Like, by them having the conversations once Ilium's ascension happens, you just see like the closeness of this family that Raphael has built with not just Elena but his seven. It's just, oh my god, it had me all teary eyed when I was reading it. I was like, this is gonna mess me up really, really bad. You know what I mean? But it was just really great to see on page. But a lot of that stuff, especially with some of the flashback scenes, it just felt like a lot of filler um, that was put in there so that we can get, like, something to um, keep this story going. When all we really needed is, just Ilium's ascension, and we get parts where he has to, like, now get his own territory and find new people to serve under him. Now that he's an archangel and things like that. Um, and we do get that, but again, because like we had all this filler at those last, at the tail end of the book, throughout his, him ascending and finding his territory and things like that, or being given his territory and things like that, it just felt like a whole lot of filler that just didn't need to be there. And I was just like, all right, let's hurry up and wrap this up. Okay, let's wrap this up. But for the most part, this is a really enjoyable book. I think it is, if you are a fan of the series, I think it is a good addition to the series. She does says at the end that, we will get more stories within the series. And I'm looking forward to that. I hope she kind of like branches off from Elena and Raphael, because I think we're kind of like done there. I feel like we're kind of like done there. And I hope if she, once she does start giving us more stories, we start to see more of Ilium and Adahan, and now the people that serve under him. Because there are some interesting people that are now, that are serving under him and want to be part of his own court. So it'll be interesting to see what she gives us with the Guild Hunter series. But Archangel's Ascension is a great addition to the series. I love Ilium and Adahan together. They are just, oh my god, their coupling is probably like the best inside of this series, and their coupling is like the best I have seen in a romance book in so very long. Like, it was just so sweet and lovely and just, oh my god, romantic. Like, ugh, you know. So yeah, check your triggers when you are in this book. As I said, Ilium, not Ilium, but Adahan has um, traumas, really terrible traumas. It is light. It's not heavy on page, but it is lightly mentioned inside of his book, and both the books. So just check your triggers when you are reading this. But for the most part, this is. I just think it was just another great addition to the series, and I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Outside of that unnecessary filler at the end, super bang out job. Okay, so that is it for me. And until the next one, later days. Bye.